Hi everybody and welcome back to LL Sports TV. We have just witnessed the greatest fight card ever, so that's what they were calling it, and certainly I think it pretty much lived up to expectations.
Nah, not quite. Not for me. No. Ever since the omission and then the Bacoli's replacement in the co-main, I think it took a lot of the glimmer away from the event. And unfortunately,
great card.
It was a great card, but not the greatest card. Not the way it was built up to
card,
be.
But it was certainly a great card.
I think the way it started, that first fight, I was like, yeah, this is going to be the best night of boxing I've ever witnessed in my life, because that first fight was tremendous. The middle fights, they were good. There were some very good fights in there. And the last fight was absolutely amazing as well. But
so let's talk about it. Right? And I've got my panel with me to talk. We've got Jigs in the building to my right. We've got James to my left. Let's talk about the fight that people were saying was the fight of the night. Joshua Buatsi versus Callum Smith, an all-British clash. It wasn't for a world title, but the way these guys fought, man, was absolutely... They put everything on the line. Great fight. Callum Smith won on points. I thought he deserved it, but Joshua Buatsi, shout out to him, put in a really great effort. James?
Well, unfortunately, I was in a prior work engagement, so I didn't actually catch this fight. So you should probably slide this one over to Jigs, who would know a little bit more about this one.
What a fight. That was a fight for the ages, man. The commentators were calling it a classic, and I think it definitely lived up to that. Domestic classic for me. They both put everything on the line. You could see by round 9 and 10, they're both absolutely gassed because they were just going toe-to-toe. There was no clinching. It was a very clean fight. And the right guy won the fight. I think Buatsi fought well at times, but he couldn't push the pace, and he was being a bit too hesitant. He weren't throwing enough, whereas Callum Smith came in with that, I'm just going to throw, and if it lands, it lands. If it doesn't, I'm just going to keep on throwing and win the fight.
Yeah, I thought that Callum Smith showed the extra bit of class and quality required, but shout out to Joshua Buatsi, pushed him all the way. In fact, there was a point or two in that fight where I thought he could get the stoppage because he had Callum Smith in trouble, but great fight. Moving on then, bit of controversy over the Hamza Shiraz title fight. I personally thought that Carlos Adames done enough to win. I had him a clear winner, 3 rounds, maybe even 4 rounds. So when they announced a majority draw, I was quite shocked by that. James?
Well, I think actually one of the judges had him 4 rounds up as well, and he was the aggressor in the fight. He was definitely the one that looked like his shots were landing with the most venom. He had the more eye-catching shots. He was pressurizing the fight, and the fact that 2 judges gave it as a draw, I find very hard to believe. And this whole majority draw decision thing, I just feel like there's a certain amount of match fixing that could potentially be pulled from this, and I don't see how they gave that fight that way. Yeah. I thought Hamza Shiraz was a very, very, very lucky man to be walking away with a majority draw.
I agree with that. I can second that. He didn't do enough to win that fight personally. Adam has done a lot more, and he was the cleaner, better fighter.
Yeah,
so
I think we all agree.
For me,
on
he
that.
wins.
That was poor, actually. That was poor. But these fights, cards, you always seem to get controversy, and if there was controversy tonight, then that was definitely it. Ajit Caballero defeating Zhili Zhang by stoppage. Really good fight, man. I mean, Zhili Zhang got off to a great start. He won the first round, and I think he dropped Caballero a few rounds after that. But Caballero, man, the way he fought, he came forward, he was landing punches in bunches, and crucially, he started going to the body. And as soon as he started to do that, you could see that Zhili Zhang was blowing out his rear end, and he was hurt several times. He got put down by a body shot before the stoppage, caught by another body shot after that, and was stopped, no complaints. Great fight. Ajit Caballero, listen, man, he's looking like a real dark horse in that heavyweight division. He's unbeaten, and today he boxed really well. James?
No, listen, man, we said it from day one. Big Bang Zhang. Boy, can he hurt you if he hits you, but his gas tank is one of the worst in the business. And I know he is in his 40s. He did kind of make his burst onto the scene very, very late. And, you know, it's unfortunate because I thought there were some big fights out there for Zhang. And in a moment, if they pulled the trigger when he got robbed against Hrgovic, he could have potentially had the AJ fight coming up. It could have been big for him, but unfortunately, his career is probably hitting its twilight zone right now, and I think you are staring down the barrel for retirement for Zhang.
Yeah, I think
last few fights have gone.
A lot of people, when Zhang was in his heyday, they were avoiding him. He was like the bogeyman, the guy that nobody really wanted to fight. So he had to take all his fights now on the back end when people are willing to fight him because he's a bit older. I think we all said it. He's got like 4 rounds, 5 rounds max. If you don't win the fight in the first 4 or 5 rounds, the gas tank's going to go. That's exactly what happened. And
I mean, he got stopped in 6 rounds, which is what we said. I think myself and Jiggs were saying, if you don't get the fight done in 5 rounds, the gas tank will burn out. But what was impressive about Caballero was the tactics. Like I said, he started going to the body, punches in bunches, pushed Zhang back as well for large swathes of that fight, and thoroughly deserved his win. Well done to Ajit Caballero. Very good performance. Moving on, Virgil Ortiz. Another very, very good fight with Israel Madrimov. Virgil Ortiz, the aggressor, pushing Madrimov back. Very competitive fight, but I thought Virgil Ortiz boxed really well behind the jab. Came in, landed some very good body shots. Madrimov came back into the fight late. Had some good rounds as well. But for me, Virgil Ortiz, a deserved winner. Jiggs.
Yeah, I think Madrimov, he looked good at the start. I was like, okay, this might be a bit of him. And then, Ortiz just grew into the fight for me.
I think Ortiz kind of
the right guy won the fight. Yeah. I called that Ortiz would win, but I thought via knockout. But,
Now, Madrimov was a quality fighter, but Virgil Ortiz surprisingly looked bigger and stronger. I thought, I know Madrimov is shorter, but I expected him to hold the centre of the ring a bit more. But right from the start, Virgil Ortiz pushed him back. Like I said, used a good jab, went to the body, showed his strength in there and his sharpness. Deserved winner.
Yeah, I second that. Not too much to add to that. As I said, I do not disagree with the decision.
Shakur Stevenson defends his WBC lightweight title with a pretty impressive performance against Josh Padley. I thought he stopped him in 9 rounds. There were times in there tonight when Shakur Stevenson showed some real brilliant boxing skills.
He did.
The way he was able to stay in the pocket, make Josh Padley miss and counter immediately with 2, 3, 4 punch combinations. Credit to Josh Padley, took the fight at late notice, showed a lot of toughness, and he wasn't just shelling up in there, he was actually throwing back.
Big time.
And he was getting under Shakur's skin a little bit. Shakur felt the need to showboat
and
taunt.
his respect.
Yeah, and you can see that, he definitely earned his respect. So shout out to Josh Padley from Doncaster. Really good effort. But listen, Shakur Stevenson on another level, as we knew before. But he demonstrated it, and I thought he looked really good.
Yeah. Listen, you're always expecting Shakur Stevenson to win that fight. You could tell there was just a gulfing class between the two fighters. But as you said, Padley, the heart and grit he showed, because as you said, he was taking shots where you look like, okay, they're gonna have to throw the towel in any second now. And then he'd bite down on his gum shield. He'd come back, punches in bunches, 3, 4, 5 punch combinations, to the point where, Shakur Stevenson, he's laughing some of these off. He's smiling. He's trying to goad him a bit. But you can tell that means someone's earned your respect with a shot. It means that this is not an easy person to get out of there. They're getting into your head. The gamesmanship's going. So I have to give a lot of credit to him. But as you said, the golfing class was clear
it was
to
apparent.
See there.
And another
Shakur
fight
Stevenson.
where it was body punches that was a difference.
Yeah, I second everything you guys said. But Shakur Stevenson, that's my guy. He's heading for the top. I think he's creme de la creme. I think he's in his division. He's going to be at the top.
So, he's a special talent. 3-time world champion.
We'll see him
already
against better opponents, and I think we'll see a better Shakur in different fights as well.
I mean, when people say he's boring, I don't get it. I just think the guy's class. I mean, there have been a couple of fights when he's not looked stellar, not looked exciting, but I don't find him boring because the skill set is so high, you can't help but admire him. But anyway, moving on quickly. The heavyweights. Joe Parker fought Martin Bakole, interim heavyweight title fight. Obviously, Martin Bakole, as you all know by now, took the fight at very, very late notice. You're talking 2 days. He was on a couch in the Congo when he got the call. Bravely took the call. He came to fight. I thought, to be honest, he was having a good little spell in the first couple of rounds. In fact, he hurt Joseph Parker, seemed to damage his nose. Looked like he could be on his way to getting a stoppage, and then all of a sudden they exchange punches. Joseph Parker throws overhand right, catches Martin Bakole on the top of the head, scrambles his centres, scrambled his equilibrium, and that was it. The fight done in 2 rounds. But it was a pretty exciting 2-round fight.
It was, yeah. And Bakole very unorthodox in his fighting style. He was leaving his chin just chilling up in the air sometimes. He was pushing his chest in there. It was like a rogue street fight. Like the punches he was throwing were thrown with serious bad intentions, as if he personally owed Joseph Parker something. But as I said, man, this is Joseph Parker's late renaissance. I think he's coming for that world title. I think he could be potentially even coming for that Usyk fight down the line. I'm very impressed with him. But I did kind of think Bakoli might have the upset factor in him, but when you saw him make that ring walk, I think that's when everyone started to say, hang on a second here. He looked like he was falling over for half the fight. He just did not look balanced at all.
Yeah, I mean, we said that he had a 5-round window to get the job done, and if he didn't do it, he would probably run out of gas and Joseph Parker would stop him late. I think that's what I predicted, but in the end it was a 2-round fight. He got caught and that was the end of it. Jigs?
Yeah, Bakoli, big scary man. If you give him a full camp, he's doing a lot of damage to a lot of heavyweights. But it went exactly how I could imagine it to go. I thought, I didn't know how Parker was going to win or when, but he was always going to win it for me.
The moral of the story is, in top level boxing, you got to be in shape. Martin Bakoli wasn't in shape. He had a little, round and a bit where he did well, but ultimately he was always going to lose tonight. But I will give him a lot of credit because he kind of helped save the show, him and Josh Padley.
Can't cheat boxing, that's what they say, right?
Well, absolutely, you know what I mean? But, credit for trying, and let's hope he spends his money well. He would have got well paid for stepping in at late notice. And of course, that brings us to the main fight of the night, the rematch. Beterbiev Bivol. Beterbiev won the first fight. It was a really good fight. Everybody was looking forward to this fight, and I'm going to say now, the second fight did not disappoint. I predicted beforehand that I thought Bivol would make the adjustments to take him to victory in this fight. So it proved. He won a unanimous decision. I won't take too long. Let's bring him on, man.
Listen, man, I said Bivol. I thought he edged the first fight. When he come back and they have a rematch, the younger fighter is always going to win, if I believe he won the first fight, which he did. He looked slick today. I thought there was a little scary patch in rounds 3 to 6, where I thought, hang on a second, he's gassed out here. Beterbiev's really stepping on it. I think he maybe expended a little bit too much energy in the first round. He looked very twitchy with his little jitters and his little movements, but comes out round 7, 8, 9, 10. That's where his championship pedigree came. He threw a lot less punches than Beterbiev, but still managed to outland him. He was throwing the more threatening shots. His footwork looked silkier than a spider's excrement. I thought it was an absolute masterclass from Dmitry Bivol today. And I think if they have a third fight, it would be going the exact same way, because Bivol just showed
levels. I mean, listen, it was a very great fight. It's a competitive fight. Elite, high-level skills, but you're right. Bivol today showed he was a better man on the night. I don't think there can be no complaints. It was a very competitive fight. It was quite close. Some of the rounds were difficult to score, but definitely I thought Bivol did enough to get the win. Yeah. My man Jigs.
Very, very good fight. I really enjoyed that fight. I say when a fight goes quick, it means that you're enjoying the fight. I think the difference this fight to last fight, probably why he got the decision this time, is because them championship rounds he stepped up and he went for it and he showed why he should be champion. I think it's good that the torch has been handed over to him, and I want him to run with it, and I think he will be a great champion.
Absolutely. Just very quickly, who should Bivol fight next?
Who should Bivol fight next? That's a great question. Me personally, I think he should fight maybe a Callum Smith.
Yeah, so no trilogy, no?
I don't want a trilogy. I think Beterbiev, you've done everything. You've been at the top. You're the guy. Pass the torch on. Let him run with it. Retire. Enjoy your money, and enjoy your family.
James?
Canelo Alvarez.
Wow. That's, Do you think...
Canelo's signed up for a 4-fight deal with Turki Al-Sheikh. Bivol takes a few months out, lets Canelo fight someone else, and then comes back.
That could happen.
Bivol, Canelo.
That could happen.
Light heavy.
Yeah, they fought before. Let's face it wasn't that competitive, really. No. Bivol won quite easily, but you never know.
I really didn't think Canelo looked comfortable at the weight in that fight.
Personally, I'd like to see Bivol fight Callum Smith next. I think Callum Smith's earned his shot. He's championed before, and he's champion at super middleweight, moved up to light heavyweight. He's looked good at light heavyweight so far. I think he deserves a shot. Let him try. I think that would be a good fight. Obviously, you'd have to make Bivol a heavy favourite. But Callum Smith can punch, and he's at that stage of his career now where he really desires a title shot. So let's see how he gets on. If they want to do a trilogy with Artur Beterbiev, they can do it. down the line. I wouldn't like to see it next, but certainly in the future, if Artur Beterbiev decides to carry on, they can fight then. But listen, that's all we got time for. Shout out to my man James, shout out to my man Jigs. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. Keep supporting the channel, really appreciate it. And we'll take care and we'll see you soon. We are out.